everyone's coming from, but I'm coming to you guys from Houston, Texas. Shout out to all of the educators that were at work today and hopped on just to get this extra learning. It is so worth it. Kahoot is so amazing. And I'm going to just give you guys a brief look into how I use it as an administrator. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. All right. So, what's the buzz about Kahoot? What's so cool about Kahoot? Why are teachers using Kahoot? Why are administrators using Kahoot? We're going to get into it in just a second. But before we get into that, I want to give you guys some insight into who I am, what I do. My name is Aspen Davis. I currently serve as an academic instructional technologist for the Houston Independent School District, and I love my job. Shout out to everyone that loves their job. It's a far and few in between. Education does get, time consuming and a little stressful, but I love what I do as an AIT. And with that, I'm currently a Radiant Rucker Road Runner. I am at Rucker Elementary School in Houston ISD. I'm from Houston, Texas. Shout out to everybody that's repping Houston, Texas. Go Astros. I have been in 7 different positions, 7 years, 3 different positions as an educator. My first year teaching, I was a 3rd grade ELA teacher. I taught for 4 years. I moved up into interventionist position with another district, and now I am an AIT for HISD, and it has been my favorite job, only because I get to introduce cool technology uses in the classroom like Kahoot. And Kahoot is probably one of my favorites, only because I started using it as an educator, and then moving up into my rankings as a part of the administrative team, I still continue to use it. And you guys can follow me at Go Miss Davis on Kahoot. I have many different Kahoots from when I was in the classroom, Kahoots from PD that I've shown my teachers. Feel free to use everything that I have. We share, we support. So go ahead and follow me on Kahoot so you guys can see some of the wonderful things that I've done personally. As far as a little bit of background about myself, I started teaching with Title I students in mind. My mom was raised in a low socioeconomic setting in the 5th Ward area of Houston, Texas, and school was her happy place. And that's what really got me into education to begin with, wanting to be a part of what a lot of kids consider their happy place. Now I push for growth and development as a coach in order to build technologically inclusive educators. Something that I've noticed in my work as an AIT, a lot of teachers are with it. They're ready for the technology. They're ready to implement it in class. They're ready to go. But some teachers are like deathly afraid. Like, what is this supposed to look like? How am I supposed to use it? I can't turn my computer on and off. So it's my job to go in and make sure that everyone is comfortable with using technology in the classroom. And honestly, it's the way. We've moved from a lot of pencil and paperwork to computer and iPad and smartboard and clever touch and all of these different things. And just being able to push Kahoot into what I push out to my teachers has been like extremely helpful. I want to be a part of what makes academics fun for my daughter and scholars like her who have a love for learning and a knack for technology. I have a 4-year-old daughter. She is in pre-K this year. She's in pre-K dual language at Rucker Elementary School. So I push even more for the technology piece. She does things at home, she does things at school, but in the midst of me being mom, educator, administrator, Kahoot has been like the forefront of a lot of what I do. Just a little piggyback on my pictures. This is my mom when she started kindergarten in 1978. How cute, right? And then the second picture is me prepping for a PD presentation, of course, using Kahoot, because I think it's so awesome. That's the easiest way for me to show my personality and use autonomy as an administrator when I'm working with my other teachers. And then, of course, my last picture is my Radiant Rucker Road Runner. As I said, she's in pre-K. So she is at one of the campuses that I house as an AIT. But basically just a synopsis of, who I am, what I do, what is Kahoot, right? So we've seen a couple of slides. Some of us may have knowledge on what Kahoot is, some of us may not, but it's a game-based learning platform for schools, organizations, and families that makes it easy to create, share, and play learning games. So some of us have knowledge of how it works. Some of us have never used it before. Tap in. If you've never used it before, tap in. It is great. It is amazing. It's so much fun. And not only do I use it in class, but I use it at home as well. And I'm going to show y'all the different ways that I use it. Kahoot values, of course, is playful, curious, and inclusive. I don't know how many of you have been able to use Kahoot in your classrooms, but the reactions that these kids have playing Kahoot is amazing. Like it becomes this big, like almost like a football arena, and we're screaming and we're yelling. The kids are screaming and yelling. We're jumping up. We're having so much fun. But in the same breath, there's a lot of review, learning process, content, curriculum that can occur within the same setting. School is supposed to be fun. School is supposed to be somewhere where not only are you learning, but it's inclusive. It gets everyone in the classroom involved, even for those students that you may have in your classroom that are not so adamant about raising their hands or participating. It gives them like a one-to-one setting where they can be included in the learning as well as everyone else in the classroom as well. So I love that about it. It's super inclusive. The mission of Kahoot is to make learning awesome. The vision is to build the leading learning platform in the world. And I believe Kahoot is doing it. It's doing it. Period, point blank. I believe they're doing it. So many of my colleagues, even from me being in the classroom, so many of my colleagues have used it, found it as a ultimate resource when we're going over review, just because we want to keep our students engaged. We want to keep our students learning, but at the same time, still having fun and doing what they do. And for me, like speaking from personal experience, I get in the game with the kids. It becomes me versus them or them versus each other. Like I said, we're screaming, we're shouting, we're standing up, we're having fun. And that's what I love about it. Because not only are the kids enjoying what they're doing, but me as the teacher, or even me as the admin presenting in front of other teachers, it gets everybody involved, and it's a competitive setting. So it becomes like this big, awesome, like phenomenon. Like, what's going on in that classroom? Are they having a party? No, we're learning, but we're learning through Kahoot, and it makes it just, it's just amazing. So how I started using it, crazy enough, I taught at Hilliard Elementary School as an ELA teacher. I was not self-contained, but the opposite. I can't think of it right now. But I taught ELA and social studies in 2015, and it was my first year teaching. I taught Title I students, and I had way more boys in my classroom than I did girls, way more boys. And what I learned was that I have to find a way to bridge the gap, to give them something that they like doing. And a lot of my boys, you know, we tapped into, okay, you guys like sports, you guys like, you know, trucks, like what do you guys like? But this was the one unanimous thing, like across the classroom, where I could have my boys included in the work, my girls were included in the work. It got so hectic to where they would work together, and I found it to be extremely resourceful. Of course, test prep in a fun way. I taught third grade, so it was a heavy demand for prepping for STAR and state mandated tests and things like that. And Kahoot was probably one of the ways to just bring them out of the setting of the stress. A lot of kids are not good test takers, but it's the same concept through Kahoot, just in a different way. Understanding that technology is a bridge for many learning gaps. A lot of our kids know how to use technology, even if they struggle with the reading and writing aspect of whatever the curriculum may be. Technology is their niche. They know iPads, they know cell phones, they know computers. So why not take what they know and bridge it into academics that's happening in the classroom? So that's what I did. Also, it gave me autonomy in my classroom with the delivery. I could put my Kahoots together however I felt they needed to be put together. I could rearrange my questions how they needed to be arranged to fit the needs of what was going on in my classroom at the time. So the autonomy piece was excellent. And as a teacher, a lot of the times we're kind of inside of a cookie cutter time frame or a cookie cutter outline. Whereas with Kahoot, you create your Kahoots, you know what's beneficial for you, your students in your classroom. So you design it the way that your students are going to grasp what it is that you needed. But having those boys in my classroom, I had to figure out a way to make it fun for them, make it fun for everyone in the classroom all at once, where we're all having a great time. And they loved it. They loved it. They learned so much. It was crazy. Like seeing how focused and how competitive they can get with each other within a learning environment is what fueled me to continue to use Kahoot. What we learn with pleasure, we never forget. Even as adults, I can speak to this quote. What I learned with pleasure, I never forget. Anything that has been fun always sticks. And Kahoot is something that I have taken throughout my years as an educator and use it in multiple settings, because They never forget what they're learning and how they're learning when it's something that they want to do. Like anytime it was a pop quiz, instead of doing a pop quiz on paper, I would do Kahoot pop quiz, and everybody is ready. Everybody is geeked. Everybody's pulling out iPads. They're ready. They got the laptops. Whereas, the traditional classroom, pencil and paper is like, it's cool, but it doesn't give them that extra piece, that technology piece that they're needing. And right now, today, as an AIT, I think I can speak for a lot of campuses across, especially Texas. The technology hit is heavy, and we want our kids comfortable. We want our kids to have fun. We want our kids to be knowledgeable about how to use the technology. And this is like the perfect way to do it. Different ways that I've used Kahoot. How do you Kahoot? So for me, as a teacher, this picture was taken in one of my teachers, Miss Torres's third grade class. Shout out to Miss Torres. She's one of my teachers on my Rucker Elementary campus. And this was the first time that the students were actually introduced to Kahoot, and they loved it. Observing her classroom and sitting and seeing how interactive it got. I'm on a one-to-one campus. So every kid has a piece of technology. As soon as she whipped out Kahoot, the kids knew it better than she did, and they had so much fun. Here, as an administrator, as the campus tech, I used Kahoot as a part of my pre-service presentation, just for the staff to get to know me. So there are different formats that Kahoot has. And one of the formats was basically like an introduction of who you are, like as a teacher, like a first week type of thing. So coming in as the AIT on 2 campuses, I did a Kahoot presentation, and it was really fun. It was just a way for them to get me. I think I did like 3 truths and a lie, and they had to try to figure out which one was the lie. And of course, none of these teachers on campus knew who I was, so it was kind of fun for them to try to like look at me and myself and my person and my personality and try to figure out like which things about me might be true and which things might be false. But it was a way for me to build that relationship with my teachers on campus. We're going to be working closely, and I wanted them to feel comfortable, be able to come to me and know who I am, know who they're working with on their campus. So when I did my pre-service, I used Kahoot. My ancillary team on campus, from music all the way to physical education. So I have music, I have PE, I have dance, I have choir. All of my teachers have technology in the classroom. As the AIT, I made sure that I provided everybody with technology. And this picture was a picture that was taken in my physical education classroom when I did an observation. She found a way to use Kahoot to talk about nutrition. And her kids, even though they were in PE, she still had them engaged in the learning through technology, and Kahoot was one of the ways that she used it. But my favorite way to use Kahoot is at home with my daughter. I actually use it going as far as like family events and game nights. I can remember the very first time that I used Kahoot with my family. I used somebody else's pre-made Kahoot, and it was like a logos Kahoot. And me, my mom, my grandma, my sisters, everybody were sitting around. I think it was around Thanksgiving time. And we're playing Kahoot on the cell phones. And I had a projector and everything. And we were like battling and going against each other. And it was so much fun. But like being able to bring something that I was using inside of my classroom home and use it with my family, even as like a spur of the moment, like, hey, we're about to have game night, let's do Kahoot. It was great. It was so much fun. I won, of course, because nobody beats me. That's first. But it was really cool to be able to do it at home with my family and find different ways that we as a family can sit and be interactive and play games and just talk and fellowship with each other. It was really cool. So Kahoot does not necessarily stop inside of the classroom. The teachers that are teaching math or reading use Kahoot. My ancillary teachers use Kahoot. The administrators use Kahoot. I use it as a mom. My daughter is in the dual language program, and I wanted to figure out a way to tie into at home learning. Like, how can I continue to build up her Spanish knowledge? How can I continue to have her practice? I created a Kahoot, and sure enough, she sits and she's like in it. Like, she has to win. She has to beat her score. Sometimes we go against each other in Kahoot and she has to beat me, but it's really cool to be able to use it in multiple ways. So don't think that it just stops in the classroom. You can use it wherever. Some of the ways, other ways, just other techniques, other things that I've been able to see as far as uses for Kahoot. So for students, surveys. Kahoot has polls where your students, let's say they're doing a project in class and maybe they want to know how many students prefer apples over oranges or pizza over ice cream, or maybe the class is doing a class project where they want to see if we have a party, what party is it going to be. The students can go and actually create surveys inside of Kahoot where everybody is going and entering what they like and what they don't like, and the teacher can take that information and create things that are geared towards celebrations for the class. Of course, studying and test prep, students are able to go in and create their own like quiz cards where they're testing themselves and answering the questions, and then they can even go as far as, you know, going against their own records in Kahoot when they're quizzing or when they're studying, just to see, I was able to do it in this much time. I can go back and try to beat my score and see if I can do it in a quicker time. And they're going over the same curriculum, the same academia that they're studying in class at home. And social emotional learning. I don't know how far anyone has been able to tap into Kahoot, but there are different vendors inside of Kahoot like Disney and Marvel that teach kids not only the academics, but social emotional learning. I know for my daughter at home, we did a Disney Kahoot over Turning Red. That's one of the newer Disney movies, where it's the red panda and she's going through all of these different changes. She's watched the movie. She knows the movie back and forth. We can't watch it together because if we do, she's going to say the words and I don't have time. But it taught her about social emotional learning within the characters that she saw in the movie. So she's going through the Kahoot and is talking about, you know, how friends work together and how they support each other, and how sometimes, you know, growing up, you go through different changes and how to deal with those different changes all through that Kahoot in Disney. So if you ever tap in and you just want to, you know, let me see what these vendors have. They have some really good stuff in there. As far as educators, of course, formative and summative assessments, just when you want to check for understanding and see if your kids know or if they caught on to whatever you were teaching that week. Do a Kahoot at the end of the week, or even at the end of the day, just to do a quick CFU, just to see, okay, how many of my kids grasped the concept, how many didn't, what was the misconception, and how can I go back and reteach those things. Of course, homework. A lot of kids have technology at home. So even something as simple as sending home homework so that it's student paced and they're able to do it in their own timing at home. That's another great idea. And of course, small group work. So when you're sitting at your round table with your 4 or 5 students, do a small Kahoot just to see, you know, what they may or may not have learned, where to start with the deficiencies that they may have as far as the curriculum is concerned, and how to move forward. As an administrator, of course, professional development, PD, the easiest one, because the teachers, for me, my teachers want to know how to use it. So doing a professional development using Kahoot and showing them how I use it, how they can adapt using what I use in their classrooms is always like my first and foremost as an AIT on campus. Teacher polls. A lot of times at the beginning of the year, staff wants to know like, what do the teachers like and what are some of your favorite things and things of that nature. And then when is it? Teacher Appreciation Week. That's probably the best time to do like a teacher poll, because you get to send out, I like this, and you'll be surprised how many cool things and goodies and stuff you get when they know. But the best, like the quickest way to do it, a teacher poll. And then of course, campus culture, just to figure out how the teachers are feeling on campus. If you want to do like an anonymous type of thing, you can do those types of things through Kahoot as well. Parents. That's my favorite because I'm a mom. I'm a mom. I'm a mom before everything. But of course, at home practice, like I mentioned earlier, I practice my daughter's Spanish at home through Kahoot. Social emotional learning, which I kind of tapped on already. Problem solving. Kahoot also has a new feature where it's the gaming mode, where these kids can go through and play these games and learn these different lessons, and it increases as they go and they get to see all of these cool things at home, even outside of the scope of what they're doing in the classroom. And there's just a background picture of my administrative staff. They're awesome. But on Tech Tuesdays, we wear tech. So they all have on some type of Kahoot gear, as you can see, from my AP to my principal all the way down to my teacher specialist. We go in on Tech Tuesdays, and Kahoot is a big push on my campus. So everybody dresses in their Kahoot swag. So that's another just a cool picture of just how it's working on my campus at Rucker Elementary School. Tweeting, oh my gosh, My teachers at my school are really heavy on tweeting. My principal tweets, the teachers tweet, I retweet, everybody tweets, just because we want people to know how we're using technology on our campus, how it's affecting the campus culture. My first tweet is from Miss Torres. And feel free to follow all of these people because you'll get to see different ways that they're using Kahoot in the classroom. But this was her students learning through Kahoot. As she mentioned, it got really competitive. And she retweeted me on her tweet. And then the second tweet, that's me. I don't know if y'all can see me, but I'm the cool one with the green blazer on. That's me. But that was my pre-service presentation that I did with my campus UDT. And I did it in front of the teachers, again, just having them engaged, having them knowledgeable, just so that they can see what it looks like. And then the last one is a PE Kahoot. Of course, she uses it heavily. Like, Kahoot is a thing in PE. So even when they're moving around and bouncing around and getting out getting out that energy in PE, she's still having them integrated with technology. So they're using Kahoot often, all the time, and the kids love it. So no matter where they're going, in whatever setting, they go from the classroom to the ancillary to after school activities. We're always incorporating different ways to use technology, and Kahoot has been like the biggest push on my campus. With that, I want to show you guys what it looks like from the scope of the teacher and the students. So we're going to go through a brief Kahoot, and feel free to answer questions in the chat. You guys participate. I want y'all to Kahoot along with me, but I want you to see what it looks like. For those who have never done it before, they don't know what it looks like on their end. I'm going to show you. So this is the scope from the teacher view. The teacher is able to put it in classic mode, where it's 1-to-1, where each student is on their own device answering their questions in their own time. Or you can put it in team mode, where you have a group of students. Maybe you have like 4 or 5 iPads in the classroom. You can still make it work. Put them in groups, have each group create a team, put all those kids on a team so that they're working together. So you can either do it on a 1-to-1 basis, which is classic mode, or you can do it in a team mode, where all of the students are in groups and they're working together in their groups. Here is what it would look like from the viewpoint of the device. So either the iPads, some teachers have cell phones, some teachers use their laptops, but I'm going to do classic mode just for this, just so I can show you guys what it looks like in classic mode. And of course, it asks if everybody is ready to join, then the game pin pops up. So on my end, as the Kahooter, I will put in the game pin 330 5562, and I'd enter the game pin. So now I'm going to get into the Kahoot, and I'm going to put, oh, somebody's joining. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. I'm going to put Go Miss Davis. That's my nickname. Go Miss Davis. You guys are more than welcome to join. Yes, get in here. Get in here. Let's do it. Get in here. But I put it as this type of screen just because I want you guys to be able to see it from the view of the gamer and the game itself. Give everybody just a minute to get in, because I know y'all are dying to be a part of my Kahoot. All right, a little more time, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I got 22. Oh, 23. Let's rock with 24. I'm gonna wait for y'all. Y'all are with it. I'm gonna wait for everybody to get on in here and play with me. I'm excited. Yes, get in. Let's do it. And then, of course, for those that aren't aware, even if you can't get in at this time, you have students that may straggle in late, or, still haven't finished breakfast or things of that nature. The game pin will stay up throughout the entire Kahoot presentation. So even if they are coming in a little later than others, they still have access to that game pin so that they can get into the game. Let's go ahead and get started. And this is what it will look like on their end. So the example that I'm going to show you guys is ELA based, because I am an ELA person. I told you guys I came in the game ELA, so ELA is my big thing. Identify the antagonist in this short film. Let's watch the film and see. Can we hear? Antagonist bad guy. Protagonist, the good guy. So in this film, I don't know if you guys can hear it. I hope y'all can. But in the film, you see the birds on the line, and there's a big bird that's trying to join the line, and the little birds they kind of make fun of him. They don't want him on the line. So this integration, you can put a YouTube video, a short video. You can pick where it starts and where it stops, and they would have to figure out who's the antagonist. Of course, the antagonist in this situation would be the small birds. Oh no! So then here we are. We would get an opportunity to reteach or talk about a misconception. Some of my students, quote unquote, picked the big bird. The big bird wouldn't be the antagonist in this situation, only because he's not causing the conflict. The little birds would be the antagonist. So the small birds was the correct answer. So shout out to everyone that picked the blue one. Boom, boom, boom. And as you guys can see, like mentioned before, it populates. So your timing and the correct answer is how you get at the top of the scoreboard. When those kids see their names at the top of the scoreboard, it causes a ruckus amongst the entire classroom because everyone wants to be at the top. Everybody. And then on this end, where I'm the student, I can see how many points I got, what place I'm in, and how many points I am behind, the next person. But I know I got it correct on my end. Protagonist versus antagonist. The protagonist is the good guy or the victim. The antagonist is the bad guy in the story or the villain. So here we are again going with another piece of Kahoot where you can go over what the misconception might have been. Maybe students don't know the difference between a protagonist and an antagonist. After that question, you can go over into another slide where you sit and you discuss, okay, this is what it is, this is what it isn't, and now the kids know for the next time that they play the Kahoot. The small birds mocked the larger bird because of the way he looked. What does it mean to mock according to the video? And here we are again with another YouTube video. I went in, found a Pixar short film, and I started it at a specific time, stopped it at a specific time, so the students would see the example of exactly what I wanted them to refer back to. What does it mean to mock according to the video? Let me see, how do I want to answer? To persuade, to tease, to welcome. What do we think? So now on my end, I'm going to say, what does it mean to mock according to the video? It's not persuade. It doesn't seem like welcome. So to laugh or to tease. I'm going to go with to tease. Boom, 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 boom. So majority of us got it right. To tease. The misconception would have been to laugh. But we have to understand what the word mock means according to the video. So context clues, ELA, trying to figure out what the context around the word makes the word mean. So again, go over the misconceptions. We see that 10 people might have gotten the answer wrong, 10, 13, 14 people. So then we would talk about it, but majority of us got the correct answer. It's a little tricky. And then again, we see how the scoreboard moves. I'm not even on my own scoreboard. I'm a little jealous. Y'all are beating me at my own game. I don't know how I feel. I win. So I don't know how I'm feeling about this, but we're going to keep going. The author's purpose for writing The Giving Tree was to inform the audience about an event, true or false. To inform the audience about an event, true or false. I'm going to beat y'all, so I'm going to put my answer. Let's see what we get. I'm trying to get on the scoreboard. I'm competitive. It's getting serious. And then, of course, the timer on the side lets the students know how much time they have. So if this were to be displayed in the classroom, they would see these two answer choices and they would see how much time they have. You as a teacher in the classroom would see how many of your students answered. So if you know you have a class of 44 and you have 44 answers, you can go ahead and skip. We don't have to use the entire time. But when you see other students joining in, you just let the timer do its thing. And on my end, as a student, I'm seeing, okay, people are still populating. We still have a little more time left. And it's letting me know that everything is loading. Boom. It's not to inform the audience about an event. It's to entertain the audience. There was no informational text inside of that specific book. I don't know how many of us have read it, but I just use that as an example. So this will be a teachable moment. Only 18 of my students got the correct answer. 29 of my students did not. So either reteaching that concept or going over what the misconception might have been. And again, we hit the scoreboard. Miss W is the highest climber. So I shout them out. When these things pop up at the bottom, they let you know who's the highest climber, who has a on fire answer streak, all types of things. Shout those students out. Because even though they may not hit the scoreboard, you still want to recognize them for what they are doing at their own pace, which brings the inclusive piece into play. Entertain. So here we are again, going back to review. You can add these slides into your Kahoot just so that you can go over what the misconception might have been. Persuade, the author convinces the reader. Inform, the author provides factual information. Entertain, the author writes happy, sad, or even spooky text. The primary purpose is to draw the reader in. This particular book, The Giving Tree, which is one of my favorite books, entertain. Boom. This is a type answer. This is one of the answers that's going to be on the standardized test. So it's been a really big push for the kids to be able to use the computers to type their own answers in. What is the setting for the three little pigs? And as you can see, my photo is slowly revealing what might be the potential setting just to give my kids a one up. Maybe they may not remember. Maybe they can't figure it out. Maybe they can't map it out. The picture reveals what might be the setting. So let me type my answer. Outside. I'm gonna go with outside. Outside. And now I see again, the answers are populating on this side of my screen as the teacher, but as the student, it's still loading because everyone still needs their time to answer their questions. Let's see what we get. Type your answer. This is really, really good to implement because again, it is going to be a part of a lot of standardized testing and we want kids to be comfortable answering. Outside, houses, homes, boom, 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 boom. Outside, houses, homes, those were the top answers. So 5 of us got that one right. And the typing your answer can be tricky, but on the other end, as the teacher, you're allowed to put in as many correct or accepting answer choices as you like. So I could have went in and put the forest. I could have went in and put the brick house. I could have went in and put the houses. I could have went in and put whatever I wanted to accept as an answer. So you have to be really cautious about how many items you limit it to, because I only put 3: outside, houses, and homes. But I could have put the forest. I could have put the brick house. I could have put, whatever I wanted or expected my students to answer to give them a wider variety of answer choices. And again, I'm on fire. I'm on fire. Watch out, y'all. Watch out. The slider answer. This is a new one that I've never used before. I just got introduced to it, so I'm really excited about it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome was this Kahoot? On a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome was, look at the answers coming in. On a scale of 1 to 10. And as the student, this is what I see. So now I'm slide my slider over to 10, submit, that's my answer. And then we wait on everybody else's answers to populate. This is a good one for math. I know you guys use number lines in math. When you want your students to work on a number line, the slider answer is really cool. So we got a range, and that's okay. But majority of us picked 10, which was the correct answer. And then we get to the very end of the Kahoot, which shows us the podium. Miss Z was in 3rd place. Shout out to Miss Z. I got 2nd place. It's all good. Who beat me? Dean, wherever you are, I'm coming for you from Houston, Texas. Okay, I'm letting you know now. And then, of course, we have the runners up at the bottom. And it's really cute. I implemented my Bitmoji. So my little teacher, Miss Davis, shows up at the bottom. It's customized to me as the educator, and it's awesome. And then it goes even further to show me, okay, what percentage of my students got it correct. I can get feedback where I see on a one-to-one basis what students I may need to pull into small groups and things of that nature. And it also lets me know what was my most difficult question, which was number 6, the type in question where students had to actually type in the answer, and that was the most difficult. So maybe as the educator, I sit back and reflect on, okay, how can I make this question a little bit more sensible for my students? How can I get them to get the right answer? What was the misconception? What was difficult? What do I need to fix the next time that I show my students, this particular Kahoot? And then that is all I have to show you guys today. And with that, I just go back in to reiterate how it can be used inside the classroom. It can be used inside of administration. It can be used at home with your family, with your kids, as practice. It's just so many different ways that the platform can be used. And I happen to tap into every single way possible just because I think it's so awesome. And I hope my presentation helps give insight to anybody that's watching. Teachers, feel free to follow me. If y'all have questions, direct message me on Kahoot. I answer. I'm available for anything outside that you guys may want to know.
Amazing. Thank you, Aspen. And really cool. I just need to highlight and reiterate one last point that you just said, because it is so special to hear you mention how when students are struggling and maybe they get that difficult answer for a type answer question, it is so not on the student to figure out like where they went wrong or where the misconception, or as you mentioned, just like a general discrepancy could be. It is so on the teacher to innovate that content and kind of evolve what questions we're asking, what curriculum is available, and how cool that whether it's a specific question or just exploring that content in general, Kahoot gives you so many different presentations of how you might put that what is the setting of Three Little Pigs into a quiz answer type where you have different multiple choice options, and you can really kind of like scaffold that knowledge acquisition within the content rather than having to revert back to like a quick lecture format. Like we stay away from that just preachy content, and you really just so exemplified and displayed what enthusiasm looks like in learning on Kahoot, and we are so appreciative of that. So many people are sharing, saying thank you for your efforts, terrific presentation, awesome presentation. Ferrera Maryland is saying, what is her name? I'll give you a last opportunity to introduce and close out your presentation, but we appreciate you, Aspen. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Again, my name is Aspen Davis. I'm currently an AIT in Houston Independent School District. You guys feel free to follow me on Twitter at Go Miss Davis. Also follow my Kahoot page. I have a bunch of wonderful Kahoots up. But yes, I am open and welcome to any questions you guys may have outside of this. Please reach out to me. I am here. It's all about Kahoot. And Dean, before I leave, because Dean beat me at my own Kahoot, I don't know where you are, but you owe me a rematch. I'm letting Dean know right now. You owe me a rematch. I don't lose. Okay.
Fair enough.